Hi, my name is Emelyne Viteve Baucicaut. I'm an ICT ELA teacher and an academic intervention specialist. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the term ICT, means integrated co-teaching. At my charter organization, we subscribe to a co-teaching model. ICT settings have both a special education and general education teacher. Now, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. This proverb of indeterminable origin illustrates the power of collaboration, working together to achieve a single purpose. My research aims to analyze the impact of professional learning communities on the achievement of students with IEPs. Now, professional learning communities, they foster collaboration to support student achievement, and it's a practice that is woefully absent in my charter organization. As a result, students with IEPs in my organization tend to underperform or they don't achieve to their fullest potential. Now, if you look to my problem of practice here, and of course, it concerns the need for more of a partnership between classroom teachers and special education related service providers, people who provide targeted support based on the mandates set forth by the IEPs. And of course, IEP means individualized education plans that students receive after they have been evaluated. Now, um, whenever classroom teachers and special education service providers, whenever they engage in planning or curricular analysis or pedagogy, they tend to do these activities in complete and total isolation. So the fact that they are not collaborating with each other means that best practices, best strategies are not shared, and of course, there's a lot of variability in the student outcomes because we're both doing two, even though we are targeting a specific goal, we're both doing two separate things to do it. And because of that, it can be very challenging to authorize any kind of change or adaptation to our IEPs because we have such starkly divergent narratives on what the students' abilities actually are. So that is, of course, my problem of practice. Okay. And so I'm going to create an environment, or I want to create a situation or context or opportunity for these special education service providers and for classroom teachers to collaborate. Now, just gonna scroll down here a little bit. Aha! Now it's moving. Great. So, the framework that is going to undergird my research is the organizational learning theory. And just to be succinct, that means that organization learning theory employs double loop learning, um, which means that we are really kind of analyzing the difference or the impasse or the gap between our espoused theory, what we profess to provide or do for students, versus our theory in use, how the how those values or the mission and our mission statement actually manifest in real life. So with this particular research, there's an obvious gap between our spouse theory, which is educational equity, and our theory in use, which how those mission values actually play out in real life. So what we're seeing is that we're not the student outcomes between students with IEPs and those who don't are very, very much inequitable, and this research aims to address that. So I am going to use semi-structured interviews these and these sort of assessment tools to answer these three questions. How do classroom teachers experience collaboration with special education service providers and professional learning communities? Of course, I'm going to ask vice versa in question number two. How do special education service providers experience collaboration with classroom teachers and professional learning communities? And finally, how do professional learning communities impact students' progress in meeting IEP goals? So I want to know how both parties are experiencing this collaboration, and most importantly, is it actually working? Okay, so some of the I don't want to say shortcomings, but something that I definitely have to look into are the validity of the assessment tools that I'll be using to measure students to measure the student outcomes. Now we know that well, iReady, as we says here, the iReady actually doesn't target doesn't provide targeted feedback as much as it professes that it does. Okay, if you can just read on here, it says that the reports that iReady generates it relies on their belief on what the students who score in this range are likely to need support with. So they're anticipating or they're making hypotheses, they're guessing what the student might need to focus on, but they're not telling teachers exactly what they are getting right or what they are getting wrong. So they're just making a sort of generalized recommendation, but it's not based on very, very specific data. Also, with the FMP literacy assessments, um, their overall effectiveness does need a little bit more research to sort of attest to its relevance in assessing student literacy. So those are the two sort of biggest sticking points that I'm having with my research. So hopefully this class will help me to address that. Thank you for listening to my video. Bye, guys.